All right. Hello, world. Welcome to Align Strength Coaching. I'm Kelly.
I'm Jordan.
And thanks for joining us. It is a beautiful Monday here in Pattaya, Thailand. Last week we were a little long-winded. We won't do it again this week. So sorry about that. But yeah, great Monday here.
Yep.
Yesterday we celebrated Songkran.
Nice rest day with a lot of steps, a little bit of water fight action. That was great.
Songkran is the Thai New Year, so it's supposed to wash away the year's stressors and bad luck and bring on a new year. So kind of cool. A little different having New Year in 90-some degree weather, but hey, we got to celebrate 2 New Years, so awesome. All right, so we are here to talk about Jordan's prep. Little update on where we're at, some thoughts we've come up with, and just some general knowledge. So I think we want to start with the why behind prepping. You've got to have your why, or else you're not going to have anything that's going to keep you going when the times get hard. So Jordan, talk about the why.
So everybody's got their own unique one, whether it be they have a goal for getting a pro card, they have the desire to see themselves actually be fit after years of being out of shape. A million different reasons, and everybody's unique to everybody. The being out of shape and want to see myself fit again was actually my why when I first got started. I was always pretty fat. My biggest, I was pushing 300 pounds and close to 35, close to 40% body fat. No, we're not fat anymore. So this time around, it's more of a personal one. Had a lot of loss last year, a lot of heartache, and this is, kind of a memory of Pops and Ben. It's more of a tribute to them.
So, and when I started, my why was, I had recently gotten a divorce and I needed something to focus on and I needed a goal. A friend of mine was doing her second bikini competition and I said, okay, I'll do it. And it taught me a lot. Oh my goodness, a lot about myself, a lot about doing hard things, sticking to hard things, seeing things through. So if you've ever done a prep, or if you know people who have, you will hear a lot about the journey. What you learn along the way about yourself is huge. So a little bit of that. Let's also talk about, the big thing is, are you ready for a prep? Are you mentally, emotionally, financially? Do you have the support? Are you ready to prep? Physically, are you in a place where you can prep, or do you need a pre-prep, if you will?
Right. So that's a big one there. All the shows I've ever prepped for before, I probably should have gone on a mini cut before and gotten in a much better place body fat percentage wise. This time going around, it's been a lot smoother as far as staying tighter and getting tighter. Last week, maintained a little bit of water. We'll talk about those changes that we're making this week, but really on the physical side, if you're carrying a lot of fat, there's really no point in starting. You should really just go into a diet for a little while and get to a better place, because you may not have the muscle mass. I almost guarantee you don't have the muscle mass. You may say that, look at me, I'm 240, but you're 25% body fat. You may be 190 on stage. So get to a better place body fat percentage wise. Financially, bodybuilding is not a cheap sport. You have supplements, super supplements. You have to pay for posing, different coaches. You have to pay for tanning, the entry fees. It's dollar after dollar, bot after bot. It's a lot of money at the end of the day. So your food can run up a bill too, because you're actually eating high quality protein sources. It's not cheap. It's not as expensive as eating out all the time, but it's not a cheap thing when you actually do your bulk buy, because you're not seeing it in small portions like eating out.
Yeah, and as a woman, you think it's expensive being a guy? I mean, we're paying. Yes, you can do your own hair and makeup for the show. If you're like me, I was never a big hair makeup kind of girl. So to do stage makeup, there's just no way I probably could do that and be comfortable about it. So you've got those costs, and your suits run about what?
So I have 2 new posing suits on the way with international shipping and the taxes to come here. End up being like $165, and that was buying Crystal a coffee as well for helping out so much.
So your guys' suits are what without all that?
So $65, roughly 70.
Okay.
And I've actually priced one out for Crystals for you.
Thank you. So yeah, the girls, our suits can, I think, bottom end be, yes, you can find them on Etsy, you can make them yourself, but I think my first suit was $600. So the more you compete too, there's that cost. So just some things to think about. So that's probably a little, that's enough about the prepping on that aspect. Let's go into something Jordan actually talked about earlier on a reel, I think last week, which is important no matter what coaching dynamic you have, whether it be a bodybuilding prep or like a lifestyle, which is what I do, the nutrition and strength, whether it's a mindset coach, whether it's a business coach. In life in general actually is communication. It's a two-way street, but when you are paying a coach or are a coach, you want to maximize that relationship. So let's talk about communication.
So many of you already know that I'm doing a self-prep on this one. I'm writing my program and everything. That doesn't mean I don't communicate with other people to not only get outside perspective, but also to make sure that my ideas are not a little too far gone. So communicating with Kelly how I'm feeling on a daily basis, communicating with her about water retention, different things that are happening, digestion. It helps keep that open line of communication. Not only helps her know where I'm at mentally and where my body's going, and so she can be prepared herself for those kind of reactions and responses that I may give, but she can also offer another perspective on what I'm doing. And without her knowing what I'm doing, she can't offer me good advice. So this goes for I have two other people that I rely on that I was talking with about my water retention. And both of them said dandelion root. And so what do? When two people that you trust and respect are telling you dandelion root, you add it in there to help with the water retention. We'll see how it goes, but I already feel lighter.
Yeah, and with that becomes, when you do have a coach, make sure you're telling them everything. We're not mind readers. We're only as good as the data you give us. So if you're not eating right, not sleeping right, make sure you let us know so we can dive into that, find out what we can do to help you. We're not just here to give you macros, meal plans, and a workout program. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you become the best you can, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. But on the flip side, if your coach tells you something and you don't know why, ask. Why am I doing this? What's that do? How's that? I tell you, I have had a couple really great coaches throughout my life, my fitness life, and that's the reason I wanted to become a coach partly as well, is because I learned from them, right? Ideally, we want our clients to learn from us, so at one point they can do it on their own. They don't always rely on us. Now, that's kind of a double-edged sword, but still, we want people to grow.
Right, and I guess the caveat we can end this part with this is, I want my clients and everybody to know exactly what my thought process is behind them, the changes we make, because yes, I do want them to be able to do this on their own. I also want to have full buy-in on the thing. So if they don't truly trust what I'm telling them, I want to make sure that I can explain it in a way that they understand why we're doing what we're doing. Additionally, as a coach, yes, I may teach my clients how not to use me anymore, but at that same point, if I've done my job properly, then they're not going to want to leave anyways.
There you go. So just communication across the board. Okay, let's dive into, we are now 9 weeks out, so let's talk about how last week was and changes for starting today for the upcoming week.
Well, last week I held a lot of water.
He did.
Yeah, my scale didn't move a whole lot. I mean, between last Monday and today, it's down a pound. And to put this in, for example, from Friday to today, I'm down 2 pounds. So I was holding a ton of water last week.
He had cankles.
Yeah.
Cankles.
So that drives us into the first changes with protocol. That started really coming on when I increased my EQ, my equipoise. So we're bringing that down in half to 175, which is where I started at. And what I'm hoping to see with that is that inflammation pull away. Also, tomorrow would be my typical day that I take one of my Retta shots. I do 2 shots a week, basically a shot every 4 days. and we're going to be pulling the Retta out so that my body can absorb the carbs next week a little better. Basically kind of pull out some of that GLP-1 agonist so I get more stomach acid going and get better uptake of the nutrients.
Yeah, I mean, you dropped your carbs significantly last week, so when we started seeing the scale not move and the ankles, the fingers, just all overall, blurred lines, it was like, okay, what needs to change? So here we go, rolling into the week. Are you? I'm sorry.
So we're also going to be dropping testosterone.
Okay.
So the other thing is, I don't necessarily aromatize testosterone very poorly. I actually I don't generate a lot of side effects with that. My side effect is a lot of water retention. So I was at 600 coming into prep. We brought it down to 450 for the last couple weeks, and this week we're going to be taking it down to 300. Hopefully that added drop will eliminate some more water, and next week we may just pull it out for the week and see how it goes. But we'll see how the water retention goes this week and play it by ear from there.
Okay, so are we doing any manipulation of macros this week?
Oh yeah. So one of the things that we're doing to speed up digestion is reducing our protein a little bit. We're bringing that down 20 grams roughly a day. Carbs have been slashed. Pulled those down to, I space out my rice meals so they're evenly throughout the day. So every rice meal is going to be down to 150 from 175. The cream of rice stays as is. Oats came down to 40 from 50. As far as total carbs, roughly, I think it was about the 90 gram carb drop.
Okay. So do you know what you are daily? We'll drop that, don't you worry.
No.
All right, so the last but not least is something that I know I'm not the best at during off season, especially, and it's something I need to work on. It's posing. It's just not my jam, not my thing. But if you're gonna do all this work on your body and your nutrition, shows are won and lost on posing. So Jordan does great. He's always practicing.
Well, I just like looking at myself now. What can I say? Now this comes from somebody that used to hate the way they looked in the mirror to now I can't stop it. So I'll take that as a transition any day of the week.
So talk about posing after you take your coffee.
Yeah, the coffee here is good. So the big thing for me is when I go through and do my check-in photos every week, I video record it, and I go through and I make sure I'm holding my poses for at least 6 to 10 seconds, and then I will pull my still frames from there. This means that at any given week on check-ins, I'm going through 3 rounds of posing. Highly recommend getting a posing coach. I will be working with my buddy Steve Kovenal, IFBB Pro, Big Steve Physique on Instagram. Dude's hilarious with his reels, but he's even better with his posing. So if you need a posing coach, talk to him. But no, we've identified a couple things to work on, namely just a few different positioning things. I got to bring my head back more in my rear lat spread so it really brings out my traps. Got to do a couple other things that we'll work with over the time, but it's important to have a second set of eyes on you, because if you don't want to get up there, have put years into your body, and you don't know how to actually do a lat spread and present what it is. You see a lot of people up there doing a lat stretch, where they're rounding their shoulders and stretching out as much as possible, as opposed to stretching wide and making their back as wide as possible.
Yeah, so it literally could be a centimeter here or a centimeter there to make sure you're showcasing your physique in the best way. So yeah, I think that is about it for this one. Anything else?
Excuse me. I think the big thing here is staying consistent with everything. Last week, with all that water manipulation happening, I was legitimately in a little bit of a panic mode, but I said that, you know what, if everything's still progressing, I'm not going to do anything until the next check-in. Even though I've added in the Friday check-in so I can manipulate a little bit quicker now if I need to on the fly, I'm really trying to be data-driven and not emotional with this, which, if you remember my previous preps, I feel like I'm too flat today, so I'll add in an extra 100 grams of carbs. That doesn't work like that. So actually approaching this prep more methodically and more I would say with a little bit more due diligence than I did last time.
And you got me over there smacking things out of your hands.
It helps.
Not literally, well, almost literally the other day.
That pineapple pie in Bangkok, that's the only thing. Oh,
Coffee.
And the coffee. And, okay, fine.
The other night, the coffee at the 7 that he tried to get, I was like, how much sugar in that? He looked at me, I pulled it out of his hand, I said, nope, put it back, grabbed a
Sugar-free strawberries and cream Pepsi.
I said, here's your sweet and your caffeine. So
that's become my new favorite.
That's tough love, baby.
Epic.
All right, that is it, guys. Follow us on the page. Follow us on our handles. Reach out. You got
smash the like, comment below.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to see next week, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, or reach out. Have a good one.